my name is Xin. I come from CGTN, but I'm the first time here on the island of Rhodes, and I think I'm lost. I was told to meet Fanny, my colleague from ERT, but I don't know where I am, and I don't know where he is. Do you know where he is? Or I need help. I mean, where's Fanny?
Xin,
Hey, Fanny.
how are you?
Good, good.
I'm not late, am I?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome, ni hao.
Yasu.
You
Ni
got
hao.
lost? You got lost?
Almost. You
Okay.
saved me just in time.
Yeah, because here we are in the old city, and this is one of the gates. Is one of the 10 gates. So
I see,
it's only
that's
natural
why.
to get lost. This is
Okay.
the famous gate of liberty.
I see. This one, you mean? Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, let me take you. I want you to take a look of the old city, so you can get a taste of the history. But I want you also to take a look and to taste the modern city and the culture with the food, because we are in Rhodos, as you know, the oldest city and the largest city of Dodecanissa. Dodecanissa is a complex of 12 islands,
I see.
and we are at the crossroad of 3 continents.
Wait, let me think. Asia, Europe, and Africa.
Africa.
Okay.
And not also, we are also at the crossroad of sea routes in Mediterranean, of the Aegean and the coast of Middle East.
Okay.
It's a very historic, beautiful island, and the people that stayed here through all the centuries, because it has a lot of history, left their marks in the culture in different aspects, in all aspects, art, architecture, language, music. We will taste, we will get a sense of all of this in the next hour that we're
Wonderful.
going to be together.
I can't wait.
Okay.
I also heard that we're very close to Turkey and Cyprus.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that we are very close. It's a very strategic island. So all the leaders in the through all this history wanted to have the island, wanted to occupy the island.
Because of its strategic importance.
Because as you said, we are at the crossroads of 3 continents. So this is the first and most important island in 3 continents. So this is the famous road of the knights of the medieval.
And it's full of pebbles.
Yes, medieval city. We will experience, and I want you to take a look in different aspects of different monuments. But let me take you. You know, a lot of tours here.
Absolutely, it's a loved place, I guess. And it seems they come from everywhere.
It's so lively, huh?
Yeah.
This guy plays Greek music.
So this is a traditional instrument. Oh, well, it's a guitar.
Yeah.
So this is traditional Greek music.
Traditional Greek music.
Very nice.
But let me take you. I want you to meet one friend of mine.
Okay.
He's the most famous tour guide here in
Another one.
Rhodos. Another one. I'm not an official tour guide.
Okay.
You know, I'm an unofficial tour guide.
Okay.
But now I'm going to take you to a friend of mine. His name is Theophanis. This is Theophanis Boyanos. He's a good friend of mine.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to wonderful island calling it Rhodos.
Thank you
Rhodos
very much.
means rose, triandafilo.
Okay.
Rhodes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know. Okay, now I know the meaning of the name Rhodos.
Okay, let's sit down. Let's sit down.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about Rhodes.
Η Ρόδος ως νησί και ελληνικός πολιτισμός.
The island Rhodes and the Greek civilization have a history of 5,000 years. We are Hellenes Dorians, and we are in charge of this beautiful, unique island for thousands of years. Many people from the east and from the west came to the island and tried to occupy Rhodes, because the island, it is at an important strategic point. If you want to travel to Africa, to Europe, to Asia, you have to go by roads. many people occupy the island. Two periods have left their mark mostly in the history of the island: the medieval period and the Ottoman period.
Did Chinese ever come to this island?
As tourists, yes.
As tourists, only as tourists.
As tourists, yes.
You can see the square, a lot of tourists.
Okay.
But okay, two people historically left their mark here in the island. First came the Order of the Knights. They were Christian Catholics. Their order was established in the 11th century in Palestine. They were called Order of the St. John's of Jerusalem. They came to Rhodes in August 15, 1309. Back then, the whole complex of the 12 islands belonged to Byzantium. According to the history, the commander of the island sold the island to the knights. The knights were from all over Europe: Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, and other countries. All these people were part of the Order of the Knights of Rhodes. They stay here in the island from 1309 to 1522, when the Ottomans came and occupied the island. The Knights have built the old city that we are here. They built it with late Gothic architecture. It is a piece of art. Walking in the city, it is like you live and experience an old myth. Walking on the streets, you can sense the history.
Όσα λουλούδια ανθίζουνε στη Ρόδο μας και στην αυλή σου,
Okay,
τόσα λουλούδια να ανθούν στην όμορφη ψυχή σου.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go, we gotta go.
Thank you.
Okay, let's continue our journey.
Okay.
We're gonna go now to the really center of the old city, which is the Knights Road. Very important and very historic road with a lot of history.
Yeah.
It is one of the oldest roads in Europe with a lot of history of 2,500 years.
Wow.
So I will take you there. The Order of St. John's from Jerusalem
Yeah.
was actually the formation of the soldiers who came here in 1309 and occupied the city. Actually, they were sold. The city was sold to the Knights, the Order of the
You mean
St. John.
the entire island?
The entire island, not
Okay.
only the city.
Yeah.
And
the residents.
And the residents and everything.
Okay.
And they took it from after the Byzantine Empire, and they changed the city.
Can I touch the wall?
Yes, you can touch it. They changed the city. They built a lot of roads. They built a hospital.
What about this road? This is called the Road of Knights.
Yeah.
So does it mean that the knights would come here on their horses and go
yes,
up
they
into
were
the
going.
castle?
Of course, that's why you see here. It is
Pebble.
so the horses don't sleep.
I see. Yeah.
Actually, people from two periods left their mark on the city, especially in the old city. It's the people on the medieval period and the people from the Ottoman period.
I see. So I see it's very well preserved. I mean, the streets or the walls, the architecture look pretty much like hundreds and maybe even a few thousand years ago. Well, hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
And I heard that in when was it?
In 1988.
1988.
It's well preserved because
this was designated as a UN World Heritage Site. UNESCO World Heritage Site. Why? What does that mean for the place?
That they wanted to keep it the way it was, so it is preserved all of these years. Nobody can touch it. Let's say to build something modern here.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of traditions, a lot of people here in the city who live actually. You see there. You see they have the houses there. All these people left their mark in the culture of the old city in terms of music, art, architecture. So you will hear different sounds to give you a sense of. Here we have buildings of this age, of the medieval age.
Yeah.
So you have the house of the Spanish, you have the house of the Italian knights, you have the house of the French knights. Let's see what kind of music this guy play now. Nice music, huh? This is my friend Emilios and his friend. Hello, guys. I was explaining to Sin that this street has a lot of history. So how is it to play music in this famous street? Are you influenced by the street?
Yeah, it's interesting in the fact that it's always different people. Every day we meet different people.
Does,
It's quite magic, you know.
yeah, does this building, does this old architecture bring inspiration to you?
Of course. And the
Make-
sound also, it makes the music beautiful.
Yeah.
What kind of music you like to play?
We play a bit of everything. We play tango, jazz, a few vals, whatever.
Where are you from?
And I'm from France.
France, huh?
Yeah.
And you?
I am local.
He's from Greece.
Yeah.
So you know that some of the knights were friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your names?
Charlie.
Charlie?
Yes.
And Emilios.
Emilios.
So at this time, what inspires you? What kind of music inspires you to play? What? Are you going to play tango for us or?
Yeah, yes. Let's go
don't know
for
how
a
to
tango.
dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna play a tango. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. You want?
All right. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
This is going to be embarrassing.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was really nice.
Yeah. Nice
Very-
break, huh?
Yeah, especially the sound effect under that arch.
As he said, this makes the sound unique here. Okay, now we're gonna meet a lady, a real expert, who will explain us everything about the history of the castle.
Okay.
We are at the city with a lot of history, at the medieval city. Let's go.
Is that the lady?
Okay,
Hi,
this is
how do you
Natasha.
do?
Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Xin.
Hi,
Xin.
Xin. Welcome
She
to
came
the
all the way
palace.
from Benzin
Oh my God!
to learn
it's
about
a long
our
way.
history.
It's a long way.
But
You
it's
have
worth
to
it so
see-
far.
Oh yes, it is. Well, welcome to the Palace of the Grand Masters. What do you-
She was asking me when this castle were built.
Well, this castle was built originally in 1309 to 10 when the Knights of the Order of St. John came here in Rhodos. And as soon as they came, they built this palace, which was the administrative center of the order, and the church behind you. Well, now it's in ruins, of course.
Yeah.
Well, this church was the most important church of the order of St. John, because this is where the Grand Masters were elected, and this is where they were buried as well.
And this castle was entirely built in 1309 when the knights came?
Oh, well, it started when they came, but no, it was built in several years actually. And the church itself was probably finished around 1319. It was a very big church, about 50 meters long and 17 meters wide.
So there are knights from different countries, from
Exactly.
Spain, from Italy, from France. So they all came here and they had their different styles of houses built by the local people? What's the story?
Well, when the knights came here in Rhodos, they found a ready city waiting for them actually. What I mean by that, this city originally dates from the Hellenistic times, some parts of it at least.
From the classical years.
Yes.
The road of the knights has a long history. Actually, I was told, you tell me, is one of the oldest in Europe, isn't it?
It is, exactly.
How many years of history?
Hipoton Street and Socrates Street were two of the main streets that were actually leading from the Acropolis down to the harbor. It was one of the widest streets as well. History says that you could have two chariots coming and going at the same time without one of them having to stop in order to.
It's a
for the
two-way
other.
street. It's
Yes,
a two-way
it was
street.
two-direction street. Yeah, exactly.
But what about, what do you mean by they have a city ready for them?
Yes, because you see, during the 7th century, we have the first castle and the fortification walls in a very small climax, of course. And then we have the Byzantine fortress as well. So when the knights came, obviously they expanded the city, building the fortification walls around. And,
They changed it a lot.
They changed it a lot.
They built the hospital, the church.
Oh yes, of course. Apart
Other
from
buildings,
the administrative center and the religious center, they built the hospitals as well. Well, this is the third hospital in succession, because let's not forget that the Knights of the Order were military, and also they had philanthropic causes as well.
Natasha, tell us, how come the knights came here? They were actually, I was told, history says that they bought the city.
Yes.
With how much money? That's the
That I do not know. Yes, they bought actually from a Genoese pirate, Vignolo de Vignoli, and after they left from Jerusalem, they went to Accra in Palestine, and then they went to Cyprus. Actually, they made a long, a very long journey. Yes, and they ended up in 1309 to 1310 in Rhodos. They had only 2 ships, but they managed to conquer Rhodos, and but they managed. Their administration was such that the Rhodians did not revolt. And they actually, in times of sieges, when the Ottoman Turks came here in 1480 and 1522, they helped the knights in defending the town.
What kind of impact has that period of time left on this island, besides the architecture, besides keeping it intact from outside sieges? What would you say would be the biggest impact to the lifestyle, to the culture, to the, I don't know, mentality?
See, Rhodos was multinational throughout all its lifetime. And people of different nationalities made Rhodos their home.
Yes.
Different periods of history, different nations and stuff. But its geophysical position is between three continents.
It's a geostrategic
Exactly.
position.
I
That's
mean,
why it's at the crossroad of the continents, Africa,
continents, yes.
Asia,
Africa, Asia,
Europe, and everybody
Europe.
wanted to have
And
it
everybody wanted to have
as
it.
a strategic point.
And it was in the main crossroads of all the marine ways.
Yeah.
And that's why many people came here and lived here and, had their professions and everything. During the hospitaller period, when you said that we have the multinational order with different nations and many different languages spoken, we have actually people, not only Rhodians, but also people that come from Florence and other parts of Italy. And we have people from France, Spain. We have a very strong Jewish community here. And of course, we have gypsies as well from that time.
When the Ottomans came to the city, how they took over?
They tried twice. Once in 1480 with Muhammad II, the conqueror. And, he did not succeed, of course. And then Suleiman the Magnificent in 1522. We call Rhodos the city that was never conquered because actually they made a treaty, a compact, and the rule, it changed hands peacefully. The Rhodians, after an exhausting siege of 6 months approximately, at the end of 1522, the Rhodians said that they had enough and couldn't
Is it true that a traitor betrayed?
There was a treachery as well. You know everything. Yes, there was a treachery as well. And actually it sped things up. And that's why the Ottomans knew that there was no food inside and ammunition was at its end. So that's how they pressed hard. It was a superhuman effort they put here. I mean, in 1522, there were 290 knights here. And it was top numbers for the time. And there were about 6,000 to 7,000 people defending the city. And the Turks, according to the written sources, were about 100,000 to 200,000.
Now, what is unique is that you have Rhodians living in the old city.
Yes. One of the reasons that the medieval town of Rhodos is UNESCO heritage monument is that it's occupied throughout its existence from the time it was actually built until now.
I wanted to ask, what's the story between the knights coming here and the crusade? They were... Is there a connection?
Yes, there is a connection actually. The first elements of the order are, it's a dark myth. We don't know when exactly it was founded. They say that the first inn was built by Amalfian merchants in Jerusalem. And the order eventually took its form in 11th, early 12th century. After losing Jerusalem, they made all the way to here, and obviously after they lost Rhodos, they had to travel to Malta. That's why they are known as the Knights of Malta as well.
She was telling me
Yes.
that it is impressive for her that we are really at the crossroad of civilization. You see mosques here.
Yes, you see, each civilization that came here left an impact. May that be in culture, may that be in architecture, may that be, well, in daily habits and stuff like that. Yes.
What about daily habits? Is there one example you can give us? For instance, what is the interesting thing that shows that, you know, people from different parts of the world came here and mixed their habits?
Well, I wouldn't know about that, not really. But, you know, you can see by the religious monuments that each nation or each nationality of people that came here left an impact in monuments as well.
Well, the Jewish synagogue.
The Jewish synagogue, the Turkish mosques, the Christian monuments are both Catholic and Orthodox.
So Natasha, tell us about the Chinese influence here.
Oh, I think apart from our many tourists that come here, almost every single shop in the medieval town sells souvenirs made in China.
Well, that's a big surprise.
Is it?
With replicas and everything, but the real Chinese era starts today with Xin. Okay.
Well,
I hope.
we want to see
And
that.
when this show will present it in the Chinese television in the whole Asia, we'll give a boost to the Chinese influence here.
Yes, of course. And we do have an exhibition held in the Acropolis Museum of, well, in Athens, I mean, about a Chinese emperor, I think.
Okay.
Don't remember.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I heard there is a very fascinating Muslim library on this island. What's the story there?
Yeah, well, it's just behind the Suleimani Mosque. Along with the Suleiman Mosque, the almshouse, which is the kitchens for the poor, and the Hurmali Medrese, the library was, let's say, 4 buildings that were used for the students of the Quran. In one place they slept, in the other they were taught the Quran, and they studied in the library, and they could eat at the almshouse.
Natasha, thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
this.
you. Thank you
We
for
are very-
coming here.
we are
It was a
very
pleasure having
happy
you
to
here.
have you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
a privilege to hear these stories from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. So let's continue.
Yes, where do we go?
We're going to a store. She said about Chinese souvenirs.
Okay.
Γεια σου Κωνσταντίνε. Hi, Konstantinos Sin.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So
Konstantinos.
Yes.
the whole store here is influenced by this period,
Uh-huh.
and most of them are made in China. Konstantine?
Yes, you're
Yeah?
right. Most of them. Yeah.
You're happy?
Yes, of course. Why not?
Good.
So explain us, what is
You're
what
happy,
is
I'm
this
happy.
Because you're in the old town.
Okay.
Okay, this is the old town. People like to see things from the medieval times. It's an armor from the medieval times, and you see all the swords are for kids.
Are they all made in
Toys.
China?
Most of them, yes.
Okay, can I buy this home? Can I get this home?
If you want it,
How
that's
much is
the
it? How
mascot
much
of the
would-
shop. That's the
how much
mascot.
Okay.
How much would such
Around
a set?
1,500 euros new.
Okay.
That's an old piece, of course.
Okay.
Oh wow!
We have it
it's
for many
made
years.
Of,
Iron, plain iron.
iron. Wow.
Okay.
That
So
was
what
one of the
else?
first made when the knighthood became very popular in the old town. After that, they made more beautiful, more expensive, of course, armors that you can also wear. This you cannot wear, just for exhibition.
So you have helmets, or what else do you have? You
Many
have
things, if you want to come inside.
Okay.
Okay, the house here is it's an old Byzantine house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this?
When we renovated the store, that was the original floor. Of course, most of it was destroyed, so we found one of the pieces. It's in Rhodes they used to make with stones figures like this. That's like a tree.
I see.
So we try to preserve it. We have
Yes.
another 2 inside. If you want
And
to try something female, I have something very nice for you here.
Oh, what's that?
That's Hermes.
That's helmet too.
Yes, for women. You want
For
it?
women.
Okay.
I think it
Let
also
me
goes
see.
with your colors.
Do I look funny?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. How do a look.
You bought it.
Was this made in China?
That is Greek.
Greek.
Yeah. Behind you,
Yeah.
those are made in China. On the left side are made in China.
So these are
Yes,
made in China,
made in China.
and
And
these
on the
are
left side,
China
yes.
as well.
And these ones here, the gold.
This is real.
We have from different periods.
Seems
Those
that
are
the-
ancient Greek,
Yeah.
the statues. That's medieval. Like looking.
This is looks real, huh?
It is real.
It is
It's
real.
exact copy.
Exact copy, huh?
Chainmail.
How about this here?
Those are original swords. Others are museum replicas. Others are movie replicas. That, for example, is a movie replica. Excalibur.
Wow.
Of course. So
All
the
of
whole,
them. The guns.
do you
all-
sell a lot of them?
Yeah.
Do people come and buy?
Yeah, they buy them. They're fascinated from the history of the old town, of the beauty of the old town, of the castle. So they want to have a souvenir that reminds them of that trip.
Oh, really?
That's the difference between Rhodes and the rest of the rest of Greece, or you can say the rest of Europe. It's a very big ancient city, 2,400 years of history. Despite the fact that Greece is in crisis and there were many disturbing news in the news and everywhere, Rhodes is picking up every year.
Good, good. Happy for you.
Κωνσταντίνε, ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, and
Thank
I
you
wish
very
you
much.
good business.
Thank you, and I hope I really like Chinese people when they come to Greece because they are far away from us. I saw a couple of Chinese an old couple a few days ago. They were making a photo with the castle, and I said to myself, they must have paid a lot of money to come here to
Yeah.
Rhodes. And how do they know Rhodes?
Yeah.
I don't know parts of China except Beijing. So I'm glad they come, and I'm
They know that a lot of
thank them very
Chinese know the
much.
Greek history. They study Greek history, actually.
no, don't talk
Well,
about
you know-
Greece. Rhodes.
I posted my pictures here on my social network, and people gave me so many thumbs up. They love it. So, and people are saying, I want to come here too.
I think
So-
them too that they come, and I
Okay.
hope for more to come.
And I'm sure they will feel welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
Thank you
Γεια
again.
χαρά.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Are you hungry, Aaron?
Slowly, yes.
Slowly, okay.
How did I look in that
Okay.
helmet?
Okay, you looked fabulous, actually. If you're hungry now, I'm going to take you to Mama Sofia. Mama Sofia is one of the famous here in the old city. Please, here.
Thank you.
Okay. And Stavros. Oh, Stavros is here.
You are welcome. You are
Okay.
welcome to Mama Sofia Taverna.
Thank you.
I'm bringing some of the mezes that we have in the restaurant,
Okay.
please.
sit down.
Wow.
Okay.
You are welcome. Feel like home, like in your house.
I'm sure I will.
Stavro,
Wow,
I was
smells.
explaining that your restaurant here, Mama Sofia is your mother, of course,
Yes, please.
is one of the most famous here in the old city, actually, the most
We
famous.
try very hard for the last 51 years to manage something like this.
Okay,
But we're still going on, working hard.
okay. Just explain us what is this here?
This is some of the things that we have around the island. A live stuff, like back at home. Clams, honey clams, oysters, fish nails, and sea urchin salad. At the same time, our grilled octopus in olive oil and vinegar. And some of the things that we serve when we serve the bread, olive oil with fresh garlic, pita bread, and some of the dishes that we use in Greece and especially in Rhodes, tarama, tzatziki, olive tapenade, and aubergine.
Okay, excellent. What are you going to drink? Are you going to a glass of wine?
Yeah, why not? Do we
Okay.
have a
We are
local?
going to bring you some local
Okay,
wine that we have
excellent.
in Rhodes that is delicious in taste.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mouth
thank
is
you.
watering.
We
Yeah.
try a little bit and you tell me your mind.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you,
no.
Stavro.
To your health.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. How do you say in Greek? Yan,
Yasu.
yasu?
Yasu.
Yasu. Cheers.
Okay.
Very nice. Thank
Very
you.
nice.
To your health.
Okay. So what we will take back to China after our short journey? Ευχαριστούμε, Stavro.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What you will take back?
Well, I think until you come to a place, you never really understand the people. And when you come to a place, you look at the people in the eyes, you smell the air, you shake hands with them, you understand them better, and then you realize they're not much different from who you are. And I think, although we have many problems in this world, but I do think that people communicate so long as you have the willingness and openness to do that.
With a positive mind. And
Yeah.
this is philoxenia, what you experience here, represents the idea and philosophy of the region of the Eastern Mediterranean. It was a pleasure
Yeah.
working with you.
Thank you, same
Hope
here.
you're back. And γεια σου, στην υγεία σου.
Once again,
Once again.
Kampe.
Kampe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.